If it's been a while since your breakup and your ex has moved on, then you're probably wondering if you still have a chance with them. Well, the answer is, in many cases, you do still have a solid chance with your ex, and in other cases, it's going to be better to move on. And in this video, I'll cover what moving on really means, how it will affect your relationship with your ex, and what you can do to create a second chance with your ex. I'm Brad Browning, author of The X Factor and breakup coach here on YouTube for over 10 years now. I've helped tens of thousands of people win their exes back, and many of those were in supposedly hopeless situations. Please don't listen to what others say. It is often possible to win back your ex, even if it seems like they've moved on. So let's get into it. First, we need to establish what moved on means, because contrary to what some people might tell you, it's not like just flipping a switch where one day you wake up and you're totally over your ex and want nothing to do with them. Like many other things in life, it's a pendulum that moves from day to day. So just because it's been months or even years since your breakup, this doesn't necessarily mean that your ex would never consider getting back together with you. I think we all have those people from our past who we still think about from time to time, even if it's been a long time, and even if they've had multiple relationships since then, and even serious ones. The truth is that you can't really determine your ex's current state of mind until you reach out to them, simply because so much time has passed. You two are no longer connected the way you once were, so it's going to take a leap of faith on your part, and I need you to be prepared for the possibility that they might not be receptive to you at all. That is a very real possibility, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. First off, the longer you were together, the better your chances are of getting them back after they've moved on. So if you two dated, for a couple of months, 6 years ago, then obviously your chances are pretty slim. But if you dated for 3 years, then you have a solid foundation that can help you reconnect. I'd say as long as your relationship was significant, then this should give you hope for a future together. If your relationship was very short and not that serious, then this definitely is going to hurt your chances. Second, let's talk about the reason for the breakup. Now, it doesn't matter how long you two dated or how in love you were. If you stumbled upon a fundamental incompatibility, then this is going to still be a huge problem when you're trying to reconnect. So for example, if you broke up because one of you had moved to another country and now you're both in the same place, then this can really help your chances. You had a problem and now it's been eliminated. So in this case, it's better to ask, why wouldn't you get back together? But on the other hand, if you cheated on them and stole their car, then chances are they've just grown to hate you even more during your time apart. Or maybe you two were in a serious relationship and you discovered that one of you wanted kids and the other did not. Now this is a fundamental incompatibility that's going to make things way more difficult. But this can be solved by the next item on this list. Now, this is something that's difficult to factor into this discussion because it really can change everything. The longer you two have been apart, the more your lives will have diverged. And this means that you may no longer be the same people who fell in love in the first place. Now, this can be great news if the two of you broke up because of a mismatch in values or expectations in the relationship. Say maybe you wanted something serious and your ex didn't. Well, it's very possible that they're now ready to settle down. But as time passes, people change in ways that you can't predict. Even the breakup itself can have pretty significant effects on you as people. Think of the person you were when the two of you were together. Are you still that same person in every way? Well, chances are your ex isn't either. And I'm talking about the little subtle changes that happen over time that you might not even be aware of. And these are going to add up to significant differences depending on how much time has passed. Now, don't despair. Sometimes these changes can make you a better match than you were before. But just be aware that you're not just going to be able to pick up exactly where you left off. So do keep these things in mind before you decide whether or not you want to reach out to your ex and try to reconnect with them. I'd still say that it's almost always worth testing the waters, unless you're in one of the scenarios that I will talk about later on in this video, that is. Now, once you decide to reach out to them, you need to pay attention to how they respond to you during those early interactions. Now, these are some signs that your ex has moved on and you're going to struggle to win them back. Again, this is not a death sentence, but this kind of behavior will require a different approach, so try to identify it early to maximize your chances. So here are the signs that your ex may have moved on. Number 1, they make no attempts to contact you. Number 2, they don't respond at all to your attempts to incite jealousy. Number 3, they don't reply or they seem apathetic when you bring up inside jokes or happy memories from your time together. And number 4, they act cold and seemed uninterested in continuing any kind of conversation with you. Now, these are signs that your ex is wary about you showing up like this and trying to get their attention. So this either means that they're either trying to give you the hint that they don't want to talk to you, that they're afraid that if they let you back in, then you'll hurt them again, or they've genuinely moved on and don't think of you as a possible romantic partner anymore. Now, in these situations, don't give up all hope, but modify your approach. I always recommend having a good reason for contacting your ex, and this goes double for if your ex has moved on. This helps to disarm the situation. It sets expectations and it provides a structure so it's less intimidating than you just coming out and saying, hey, what's up? So instead, you could say something like, hey, it's been a while. I know you were always great at interior design. I'm redoing my bathroom next week and I have a couple questions. Do you mind if I pick your brain? Obviously, you'll have to modify this to fit your ex and your particular situation. Just make it seem real and convincing. Now, there is a chance that your ex is going to see through this anyway, but that won't always hurt your chances. If they're nervous about seeing you, then the fact that you can both pretend it's about wallpaper will actually help make things easier. And if your ex really is over you, then you may need to modify your approach even more. So in those cases, consider signing up for my online coaching program at breakupbrad.com/coaching. When you sign up, I work with you to create a plan to get your ex back. And I find this approach makes things much easier when you're dealing with a reluctant or long-lost ex. So check out breakupbrad.com/coaching to see my current availability and sign up to start working with me today. Now, there are a few scenarios where you can't or shouldn't try to win your ex back. Now, these are pretty extreme, but I do want to touch on them because they apply to quite a few of my viewers. So please listen carefully, and if any of these apply to you, please reconsider moving on and trying to find somebody new rather than reaching out to your ex. It's not always easy to tell how serious your ex's new relationship actually is, but if you two have been apart for a significant period of time and they're telling the world about their new relationship, then chances are it's not just a fling. Because here's the thing, while you may actually still be able to win your ex back, how could you trust them in a relationship after you broke theirs up? You'd always be wondering if the right person could steal them away from you again. So if you do find out that your ex is dating somebody else, the best thing you can do for yourself is really to cut contact and work on moving on. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but it's going to be the best thing for everyone involved. And remember, there's always a chance that the two of you may reconnect in the future when you're both single again. Just obviously don't count on it. Now, you may be surprised to hear this, but this situation is unfortunately more common than you might think. This is especially true for those who tried really hard to get their ex back without seeking my advice. Often they'll have harassed their ex with calls and messages, or actually full-on stalked their ex. And I know how easy it can be for some people to slip into this mindset without knowing it, and before you know it, the police are involved. And while it's one thing to fight for your love, it's another thing to put someone in a situation where they feel overwhelmed or unsafe. So if your ex is begging you to leave them alone, or they decide to even take legal action, then of course it's time to move on. Whether it's issues with commitment or wanting kids, if you and your ex, you want different things fundamentally, then it's probably time to move on. As much as you may think that your ex will change their mind or that you'll be fine settling for less, I think deep down you know that this is probably a mistake and one that's going to likely end in heartbreak. If your ex is consistently ignoring you on every front possible, then this is an obvious sign that he or she is over you and that it's time to move on. While there are strategies that you can take to win your ex back, at some point they have to show a willingness to communicate with you. Without that, you really never can win them back. If you've been trying to win your ex back the right way and have had no luck, then eventually the time will come to move on. So if you have registered for my X Factor program and followed the entire guide to the letter and you're still not seeing results, then it may be time to move on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, head over to breakupbrad.com and watch my free video presentation there. That video explains how the X Factor program works and how you can get started on it today. Again, if you're interested in finding out more about the program, just go to breakupbrad.com and watch the free video. Everyone in your life could see that your ex wasn't right for you, but you were so blinded by love that you ignored how you really felt. Now, if you start to see the red flags that you had hidden for so long, then it's time to move on. To get you going, reflect on the excuses you used to make to justify your ex's behavior. Do you still agree with your reasoning, or do you see that they were just excuses that let you cling to a broken relationship? Now, there comes a point where you have to step back from the situation and think with your head, not your heart. I know it's tough, but if your dynamic isn't working, then it's time to find the courage to move on. Now, this, of course, doesn't mean that your feelings will disappear right away, and it is totally okay to take time to grieve the relationship. But if you know there's no hope for a future, then it's time to put your ex behind you and officially close this chapter in your life. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions regarding what I've just talked about, post them in the comments below. You know what to do, and I will answer them all as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.